are a master. You're a master wearing a human costume, and you are here on earth at this time taking a master class. You are not a victim. What if I told you that all the things that you think are going so wrong in your life are not really going wrong? What if I told you that all the limiting beliefs or the triggers or the strong emotions or, the things that you would label as negative, what if none of that is actually a bad thing? What if it's something entirely different? This has the ability to completely change your life. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Juliet Cleary. I'm a manifestation coach teaching you how to quantum jump to your highest timeline. And if you enjoy this content, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and tap that bell icon. If you would like to work together, that information's in the description box below, as well as the link to my meditation channel. You are a master in disguise. You are not a victim. You are God. You are all that is, and you are experiencing this one, individual perspective right now. This is where you're focused at this time because you're taking a masterclass. Now, let me just put this in here. You're here for fun. You're here for play. You're here for expansion. And along with that, you're here to experience polarity because you're already whole and you know it. You already know everything. You already are everything. You already own everything. You're already enlightened. You're already the most powerful you could ever be, right? So you're here experiencing polarity to rediscover and re-remember as a, human who you really are, and create expansion by transforming the dark into the light. So what if the things in your life that you're like, ooh, I got all these problems, I got all these negative things going on, what if you put them there? What if on a higher level of consciousness, you put these things here to help you move forward, to actually help you expand into your highest timeline? So what if there's not actually anything going wrong? You are creating everything in your reality, whether some of it's on purpose, whether it's some, by default. But you are creating all of it. And anytime you are seeing or experiencing things that you would label not ideal or something that's bad or something that's negative, it's still you that put it there. And it's always there for a reason. It's a match to your current frequency, yes, but it's also something that is actually pushing you in the right direction. By giving you a reflection of who you are being or what ideas you're holding on to, it invites you to let go of those and therefore, shift into the light, shift into your expansion, shift into your highest timeline. So what if all these things are actually just pushing you in the direction you actually want to go in? Although as long as you continue perceiving them as something's gone wrong, what's wrong with me, that's the only holdup. And what if you can really get this idea into your mind and grasp it, it has the ability to completely change the way that you view your reality, your emotions, your limiting beliefs, your triggers, all of that. So what if when you notice negative thoughts coming up or limiting beliefs, or you feel really triggered by something, what if all of that is simply because you are a light worker, a starseed, whatever you want to put the label as? You are awakening. And because of that, because there is a raising of your consciousness, a raising of your frequency, therefore, you've got to release and transmute the old. The emotions and the beliefs that are not you, that you have been holding on to, that you have maybe even, you're connecting to other versions of yourself in other lives, like past lives, which are actually still here and now. Everything's occurring at the same time, existing at the same time. So you're not really connecting to the past, it's here and now. But you are here as this light worker, as this transmuter. Is that a word? It is now. Because you're here to break the cycles. You're here to break the cycles and create new ones. You're a cycle breaker and you're a cycle maker. And so when you feel a reaction to something, a negative emotion, when you are on this journey, you must always release the old. As you are moving into the new, you release the old. But if you are not allowing that to come to the surface and let it go, you're just stuck in this kind of holding pattern. You're like, oh, what am I doing wrong? I really want to go this way, but I'm kind of like, you're just kind of, it's this tug of war, yes? And so, for example, when you go to look at your bank account and you get this kind of, ooh, in your stomach maybe, in your gut, like, oh no, there's not enough money there. What if that feeling is because you've been focused on this new version of you, this new reality, and you've really been starting to move in the direction of that in your, in your emotions, your thoughts, and your actions, right? You're adopting that new identity. You're shifting in frequency and energy. When you go to look at your bank account and you get that feeling, and it's a strong feeling that arises, most people will try to push it down or push it away and try to think the better feeling thought or try to do something else. Or what if that is actually just arising to be released, coming up to be released? Kind of like when you have a cold or a flu and you might get a little frustrated that your nose is constantly running and you're coughing or sneezing. It's a little bit frustrating, but that stuff has to come out because it's actually getting rid of the virus. It's getting rid of the bug. And if you don't let it out, well, it's really not good, right? It's purging. And it's the same thing when you go to look at for example, your bank account and you get that feeling of like anxiety. What if you're completely present in that moment? You get out of the mind completely. You can't be in the physical mind when you do this. Come into the body or into the heart and allow the feeling to come up completely. Feel it and transmute it in that moment. What if that's what that really is? It's a purging, it's a releasing. I've got to feel this. I've got to let it go. Not thinking about it. I didn't say think about it, sit there and think about it. I said allow yourself to feel it fully so that it releases fully. It's kind of like I remember Joe Dispenza talking about in the meditations, and he said the most powerful thing is like when someone has these strong, what you might call negative emotions, the fear maybe, if they can sit through the fire, he always said, if you can sit through the fire and allow yourself to feel it, be present in your meditation, and you allow yourself to feel it, you allow it to come up, you really just sit with it. Eventually you get to the other side of it, into the unknown. You actually release what that was. It must be released. And then you get to the other side of it and you experience something profound. You shift into a total different emotion, elevated emotion, a different frequency. And so this is what you're doing as well, but just throughout your daily life. Now, I'm not saying to sit there and spiral and go into the mind. We're being completely in the body, and we're allowing these patterns, these energies, these frequencies, these emotions to be released. Same thing kind of happens when you go on kind of like a detox diet. And you get rid of all these foods that you've been eating and you're having all this healthy stuff, but usually the first thing that happens is you get all these die-off symptoms. Your body kind of breaks down a little bit. You might get like some stomach discomfort, acne, like skin conditions, like a foggy brain. Like you get all these different symptoms as toxins are being released from the body. So in order to move into this new state of health, the toxins release. And it's also what happens anytime we cry. We actually release the chemicals that are associated with certain limiting beliefs or emotions. We're actually releasing those through the tears or through our sweat or our urine, right? So there's always a releasing. But think about it. If you're moving in this new direction and you're raising your frequency, but then you're not allowing the stuff that needs to be cleared up. You're not allowing yourself to feel it, to acknowledge it. You're kind of judging it, which you can't do. You can't judge it because then you match it, then you perpetuate it, and you stick to it. You judge it, you invalidate it, you try to push it away, you kind of panic, or you go more into the physical mind, around it, into your thoughts, or you try to change it, you try to fix it, as opposed to acknowledging this is something I need to release and transmute now. And I'm giving myself in my life, I'm sending to myself from a high level, I'm sending to myself conditions, circumstances, people, situations that are actually giving me the opportunity to spark this up and release and transmute it in the moment. Not to go back into the old patterns. We're not repeating old patterns, old choices, old reactions. We are releasing in the moment and letting it go. We're allowing ourselves to feel it and release it. Then we are making the new choice and going in the different direction, a different choice than we would normally choose in this situation if we experienced it prior. And that's how you continue to shift timelines to create these timeline splits where you're going in this other direction, another parallel reality. But again, you can really only go there if you release the stuff that needs to be released. It needs to be let go of. And I'm not saying it's this long, hard, difficult process of like healing and fixing. It's not that at all. You are focused as being the new version of yourself, raising your frequency, living more in your heart, living more in joy, and then releasing things as they come up to be released. There's no real effort on your part. What many people don't realize with, a lot of people like, okay, there's subconscious beliefs and subconscious stuff going on. The subconscious mind or the unconscious mind is actually a higher vibration than your conscious mind. So when you raise your frequency, when you're following your joy, you actually get more in touch with your subconscious mind. So there may be things that you become aware of so that you can release and transmute in the moment, right? Or you can do it through your meditations or while you sleep at night. I made a video on being able to release beliefs, emotions, receive answers, heal your body while you sleep. You can do that. But it's not about fixing, because then you're back in the old self who still feels like they need to be fixed. And the way in which we actually transform situations and transmute them is by doing this, is by being in the heart, being really in the fifth dimensional consciousness of living in your heart, allowing yourself to feel whatever you got to feel and transmute it and release it back into light, back into love. I started visualizing like in these, these situations, a light coming down, maybe in certain parts of my body where I feel the emotion, or just all over my body, to transmute that. Because when you come into the present moment and you literally like allow in the light, it does everything for you. It fixes it for you. It transmutes it for you. But you just have to feel it, release it, and be in that present moment where that can happen, as opposed to being so in the physical mind trying to figure it out and fix it. And so none of those things that you're saying, well, this is something that's gone wrong, you got to stop saying that. Whether it's situations in your life or it's like beliefs or blocks, stop calling them blocks, stop calling them, something's stopping me, something's holding me back. Get rid of all of that dialogue. Your words hold frequency too. Or situations in your life, stop labeling them as something gone wrong, something that's negative. It is basically messages that you're sending yourself so that you can actually move into your highest timeline. And as you see all of these things as actually serving you, and you choose to know that, and you choose to transmute all the stuff that comes up, you end up being a very different person. And you end up in your highest timeline. Remember that you are a master. You are a master wearing a costume, believing yourself to be this small human. Shift from thinking yourself to be the victim. In any moment that you notice you're going into that kind of victim mode, choose the other way. You are not a victim. Remind yourself of that. I am not a victim. I am the master. I'm actually in full control. I always have been. I know exactly what I'm doing. All of these things in your life that are going on, maybe it's just one or two things, even if it's something that seems pretty like I said, like things are going pretty great for you, but you feel like you may be stuck, some situations. You're here to master that. You're here to transform that. You're here, like I said, to be the cycle breaker and therefore the new cycle maker. All the cycles that, humans have been going in for years and years and years and years. And finally, there are so many of us now who are breaking those cycles. And that means patterns, that means generational patterns, beliefs, emotions, right? Even things, again, from other lives that you're connecting to, you're actually helping them every single time that you release something, that you make a different choice, you actually change and help these other versions of you, these other lives. You change everything across time, space, time, however you want to label it. You actually shift everything. When you make one little change, you actually change everything. You don't even realize how important you are, and even the little changes that you make, the little choices you make, are actually so powerful and so important and are affecting so many other lives, timelines, beings than you even realize. And so you're here to do very, very important, I'm not going to call it work. It's not work. You're not here to work. You're here to play. You're here to play. You're here to transform for fun. When you do this, you are breaking the old cycles across all different timelines, all different generations. And for the people who are going to, continue to be born on planet Earth, you are shifting and changing everything. And that is really what we're doing to shift into this, kind of new Earth, fifth dimensional consciousness, this splitting that's happening right now. That's really what we're doing, is we're moving in the direction of 5D, like fifth dimensional consciousness, and therefore realities that match that. And so we have to release and transmute the stuff that's in the 3D, or that we're still kind of attached to. anything that you're still doing for validation or to feel like you're worthy or good enough or successful enough, or any kind of limitations you're holding on to that are attached to like the third dimensional kind of way of being and thinking. That's what's kind of coming up to be released now so that you can continue to shift into this new earth, this new level of consciousness, this heaven on earth. Okay, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, let me know in the comment section below by giving this video a thumbs up, sharing it, and subscribing. If you would like to work together, that information is in the description box below. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.